After countless hours of playing through all three Mass Effect games, Mass Effect 3 presents to us three different choice endings, all of which tend to leave us feeling either underwhelmed or disappointed, or both. For over a decade, these endings have been a sore spot for fans of the trilogy, an otherwise perfect trilogy held back by three different colored endings. It goes without saying that fans were not happy about it back in 2012, and pretty much ever since. BioWare even had to release a free update for the ending a few months later as a form of damage control. In a way, BioWare sort of doomed themselves from the start by presenting to us one of the most overpowered video game villains of all time. They practically wrote themselves into a corner, where the only way out was by some sort of Deus Ex Machina ending, and Deus Ex Machina endings rarely go down well. They're often seen as lazy story writing or just a sign of the writer having their head up their ass. Many fans wish for there to be a fourth choice that we could have had. Some wrongfully argued for some indoctrination theory, which I never understood because that would have been far worse than what we actually got. I could still replay the game multiple times despite the lackluster ending. But if the indoctrination theory were to be added, then I can't see myself having ever wanting to replay the games ever again. Now, in the later update and in the Legendary Edition, there is sort of a fourth choice that we can choose, but the game will simply register it as us failing the mission, thus meaning that it's not really a fourth choice. Now, I have thought of a possible fourth choice that maybe BioWare didn't exactly have time to think of. If they had more time to work on the script, they may have even caught on to this idea. Because how I came up with this fourth possible ending was by finally playing through the Legendary Edition. The solution was right there. The game practically gives it away. Now, right off the bat, one quick sort of easy solution to beating the Reapers would have been by destroying more mass relays. It's mentioned in Mass Effect 2's Arrival DLC that destroying a mass relay could buy us at least 6 months, and seeing how about 6 months passed between the end of Mass Effect 2 and the start of Mass Effect 3, this pretty much holds up. So one destroyed mass relay equals 6 months of extra time to prepare. Seeing how the Crucible was constructed in a few months, I'd say that at least a total of 4 mass relays would need to be destroyed in order to give the galaxy enough time to build the Crucible, and figure out that it needed to be attached to the Citadel in order to work. Here's the problem with this plan. Although destroying a mass relay buys us some 6 months of extra preparation time, it comes at the cost of destroying the solar systems that these mass relays are in. And with the speed of which the Reapers move, there may not be enough time to save everyone, or at least give them fair warning. Then there's the fact that we know the Reapers first appear in Batarian space, who are not the friendliest towards humans, and they're also not the biggest fans of the Citadel Council, and so I doubt the Batarians will be too keen on the idea of destroying some of their own solar systems. It's also later revealed that many of the Batarians' leaders had also been indoctrinated for some time by this point, which would therefore have likely triggered a war where the Batarians sort of side with the Reapers. I say sort of, because it's not exactly like the Batarians would have had a choice given the fact that their leadership had already been indoctrinated.
You're working too hard.
And even if this plan somehow did work, keep in mind that as early as in Mass Effect 1, we learned that not all of the mass relays have been accounted for. There are several mass relays we either have yet to discover, or other mass relays where we just don't know where they lead to. With us not knowing of all of the mass relay locations, there could be a mass relay that we miss along the way that the Reapers then use to attack us from another direction.
Many primary relays lie dormant, their destinations not yet known. These relays are often left inactive on purpose, as established civilizations are unwilling to blindly open a passage that might connect them to a new hostile species. The Reapers do not share the same concern, and freely use the dormant relays.
Now, there is another way we can use the mass relays to our advantage. This would require the biggest sacrifice of all. This can be done by letting the Reapers enter a selected solar system, ideally one where they would want to invade with a large force. So one of the Citadel Council homeworlds, like Earth, Thessia, Palaven, or Surkesh, and then destroy the mass relay behind them. This would wipe out a sizable amount of the Reapers' total forces, and also buy the rest of the galaxy some time to regroup for the next attack. But here's the problem with this strategy. First of all, it will cost us billions of lives every time. Second, it will also damage our infrastructure and thus our ability to continue the war for long. And third, we would need to take out several of our homeworlds to make sure we get them all. This would then cut off many parts of the galaxy from one another, since there would be no more nearby mass relays. And if just one Reaper survives, the cycle will continue. It would just take longer to complete. Plus, Cerberus and the Elusive Man, who are already indoctrinated, would just work from the shadows doing the Reaper's work, until they're ready to make their move again. As was the case for the first cycle when the Leviathans were nearly all wiped out. Another possible way to fight off the Reapers would have been to use our ships and use them as faster than light missiles. The issue here becomes a numbers game. Remember, they are a lot of Reapers, and we only have so many warships that will be able to cause enough damage to the Reapers if launched at FTL speed. It's also not guaranteed that a single warship will be enough to completely take out a single Reaper. It may require several just to take out one since they're so massive. We may therefore not have enough ships. And in the process, we would also take away our ability to fight back after we run out of warships. Okay, so now let's get down to the real way to beat the Reapers. This information is revealed to us near the very end, right before we have to choose between one of three possible endings.
I am the catalyst.
I thought the Citadel was the catalyst.
No, the Citadel is part of me.
I need to stop the Reapers. Do you know how I can do that?
Perhaps. I control the Reapers. They are my solution.
Did you catch it? I'll play it one more time just in case you missed it.
I am the catalyst. The Citadel is part of me. I control the Reapers. They are my solution.
That's it. The Catalyst and the Citadel are one. The Catalyst controls the Reapers. Destroy the Citadel and you destroy the Catalyst. At this point, the Citadel arms are already open. So all Shepard has to do is tell Admiral Hackett to attack the interior of the Citadel, if they have any nukes. Which, to be honest, I'm surprised we didn't see any be used in space for this game. They could launch them at the Citadel to ensure it's completely destroyed. This might not kill off the Reapers, since the Reapers are essentially all sentient, but they will no longer be under the control of the Catalyst. This will give them free will, and it might just be enough to stop the cycle. Some of them might even turn on each other, as one Reaper might remember that it was an older Reaper that wiped out its civilization in a previous cycle. Others might even self-destruct, so not to live with the reality of being some type of cosmic horror abomination. Now, the only issue here is if the Catalyst has some type of backup stored somewhere else. It's assumed that the Citadel was constructed at some point after the first cycle after all, thus meaning that the Catalyst had to have been stored somewhere else before. Based off of the control ending, however, it does appear that the Citadel is the sole location of the Catalyst. When picking the control ending, it is the only ending where the Citadel is not destroyed. In fact, the Citadel is completely unharmed as Commander Shepard essentially becomes the new Catalyst, meaning that this fourth choice might in fact be possible. No Catalyst also means that the Indoctrinated will no longer be hearing voices in their heads, assuming that each individual Reaper doesn't take direct control of the people for themselves. But again, the Reapers might be too busy fighting each other. This is just my theory anyway. Still not a complete or clean victory, but I think it could have been a reasonable possible fourth choice. This might sound similar to the actual destroy ending. However, I would argue that this is different because this fourth choice would not result in the destruction of the Geth, nor would it destroy the mass relays. There's also a much more likely possibility that Commander Shepard would have enough time to escape the Citadel before it's destroyed, and thus survive the ending. If you ever wondered who should replace the Reapers as the next big bad villains for the next trilogy, then click on this video right here. Anyway, that's it from me. I should go.